Yo, what's good everybody? It's your boy DC from Congress Music, and today I want to bring you guys on the journey with myself and the rest of Congress Music as we start here on YouTube. The recording, mixing, and mastering process can be very difficult for beginners, and I know I still struggle with it from time to time. If you're in a home studio recording setup like myself, you know a lot of things can go wrong, and it can lead to endless time spent on YouTube trying to figure out your problems. Maybe it's just you don't know how to set your BPM in Pro Tools. Who knows? These are the problems that I want to fix, and I want to learn these DAWs and everything to do with music production with you. Together we can build yourself a home studio setup that can get you recording, mixing, and mastering your own music that you can put on Spotify and all other platforms. So any questions you guys have about the recording, mixing, or mastering process, make sure you leave it down below in the comments section and we can figure it out together. Whether that's from a video I'm going to post in the future or that's from someone answering it down in the comment section below, we can figure out the problem and we can get a better sounding mix and just better sounding music.
Okay, you drop the ball, we get the money, and Congress Music up. Don't come to me acting funny, forever money talk.
But hold on, how can we record, mix, or master if we don't have anything to do it on? Now there are different options when it comes to recording, mixing, and mastering in the overall music production stage itself. You can either use an iPhone, an Android, or you can go the natural route and use a computer. Now, not everyone can use a computer and get plugins and DAWs and all this other equipment. So starting out, if you're just on a phone, there is a way that you can still create great music. So stick around and I'm going to talk about that in just a second. So creating a home studio with a computer is what we're going to be focusing on right now, and you're going to need a couple things before we get started. But to get started for a basic home recording studio, we're going to be starting off with a PC setup, or you can use a Mac. All things apply. Just make sure that you get a newer Mac when looking for computers, and we're going to talk about that in just a second. When you're looking for computers, you want to make sure that you get the correct specs so that way you can run all your programs nice and smoothly, because if you have jitters in your programs while you're trying to mix, even while you're trying to record, the process is not going to be fun and you guys are going to get very frustrated even easier. You're already going to get frustrated. Don't make it faster. So to start, let's look at a couple specs of a PC that you would really want so that way you could run all your plugins and all your software nice and smoothly. Depending on your budget range, you can either go for a Intel build or a Ryzen build, which will depend on your CPU and your GPU. But for most budget options, you're going to want to go with a Ryzen processor because it acts as a CPU and a GPU, which ultimately cuts down your cost in the long run. So when looking for Ryzen CPUs, if you guys want good recommendations or a video on that, make sure you leave it down in the comment section below and I will put that out. I'll even do a little computer build so that way you guys can see what parts are going to work well together, and just so that way you guys can run off something so you have a good idea of where to start. So moving on from the Ryzen processor, you're going to want to go on to your RAM, and for this you're going to want to make sure you get around 16 gigabytes. 32 would be the best case scenario, and 8 you're gonna be struggling, but 8 will probably get the job done. You can't run 4 because I don't even think that your dog can use 4 gigabytes of RAM. Make sure you go on whatever DAW's website you are using and go and look at the system requirements. They will tell you exactly what your computer needs in order to run the program smoothly. Now you guys might be wondering, what is a DAW? Why does he keep saying DAW? Like, what is a DAW? A DAW is a digital audio workstation, and this is what you're going to record into so that way you can put your tracks down, your vocals, your instruments, and then mix it all together. I will do a video on some other DAWs, but I personally use Pro Tools. A couple examples of DAWs would be Fruity Loops, Logic, and I mean shit, even GarageBand if you're on Mac. GarageBand can get the job done, but I mean you're gonna want to upgrade eventually, and if you're on Mac, you're probably gonna go to Logic, but I am on Windows and I like using Pro Tools. That's just the first DAW that I kind of started learning, and that's what I'm sticking with. So pick whichever DAW that you guys want. Go and do your research on YouTube. Some DAWs are said to have a better sound. Others are said to be more flat like Pro Tools, but honestly, you put your audio down, you mix it up, boom. It's a DAW, bro. So back to the computer and the specifications that you're going to need. We already got the Ryzen processor. We got our 16 gigabytes of RAM. And because you went with a Ryzen processor, you don't need a graphics card. But if you have it in the budget, a graphics card will take the load off your computer a ton. So I would go for most likely a 1650 Super. They're low power consumption cards. They're honestly great for the price. So if you can find one of those cards at a decent price right now, definitely go and pick that up. So now that you don't need your GPU, we're going to move on to the storage. You're going to want to go with an SSD, a solid state drive, so that way you can load everything so much faster. A hard drive is literally a physical spinning disk, and a solid state drive is like that, baby. We get her moving. You can have regular hard drives if you want to put like other files, but for speed, you want to put all your programs, applications, and everything like that on your solid state drive, so that way you get the best speed and a better experience from your computer. But also, a lot of people get laptops because they just don't have the space for a desktop like this, or they need it for multiple purposes, which... That's you, bro. That's you. That's me. That's us. That's us. Editing videos, music production, you know. It's whatever. It's whatever. Do what you do, bro. Do what you do. However, if you want to save money, going with a desktop computer will most likely be your best bet, just because you can get the parts for a lot cheaper and put them all together and make a more powerful computer out of a desktop than you can for a laptop. You don't really pull the processors and graphics cards out of laptops like that and just interchange the parts. So it's definitely a good idea. If you want to save money, go with the desktop. But if you need the maximum mobility, then you might need to go the laptop route. So now that you have your computer all set up, you have all the good specs, you got a monitor. You guys can figure out which monitor you want to use for recording, mixing, and mastering. It really doesn't matter that much. But if you're doing other things, photoshopping and things with color, then you definitely want to get like a bigger size monitor. Make sure it has nice colors, bro. Just go look up some reviews on YouTube. I believe in you. You got it. So now that you have your computer and you have your digital audio workstation, it's time to get our voice into our computer. Now you can do this a couple different ways, but the most common way is with an audio interface and a condenser microphone. If you're going to be recording vocals, even if you're recording for YouTube, such like this, I'm using a condenser microphone right now. I'm actually using the Blue Yeti, and to record vocals, I use the Audio Technica AT2020. These two microphones are both condensers, but they do connect in different ways. The Blue Yeti connects via USB, so I can just plug it right into my computer, and I am good to go. The Audio Technica AT2020 connects into my audio interface with an XLR cable. So you do need to get an XLR cable and then plug that into your audio interface. A good budget audio interface would be the Focusrite Scarlett 3rd Gen. I think that's the one I have, but the 2i2 is good if you need multiple inputs. Go do your research on audio interfaces. There are a lot of budget options, but I would go with the Focusrite personally, just because that is what I use. And if you're looking for budget condenser microphones, don't cheap out and go to Alibaba and get one for $39 It's not gonna work, bro. Go do your research, and my suggestion would be get the Audio Technica AT2020. It's around $100, and it's probably the best microphone that you can get for $100. But that's the basic equipment that you're going to need in order to start recording your vocals in a home studio or even just to your laptop. Another thing you guys are going to want to invest in is a pop filter. It goes right in front of your mic and it gets rid of your plosives such as P's and S's and T's. And it just helps give you a nice clean signal, and so that way you don't have to get all that stuff out later. And sometimes that stuff is so bad that you just can't get it out later. Make sure you get a pop filter. It's only like $15, but it will help your recordings tremendous. Now, I did say earlier that if you can't get a computer set up and you are still on your phone or just getting started making music and you don't want to invest all this money in the equipment, there is still an option for you. You can use your iPhone, Android, whatever mobile device you have, and you can create good music. Now, I don't really know about Androids because, I don't really be messing with Androids like that, but I do know for iPhones that the Apple headphones are actually a okay mic to use. I do have a couple songs on Spotify, and I'm gonna play one right now just so you guys can hear what a song sounds like using Apple headphones on your phone.
She came up and then just threw it back. Hop up in the Urus and we bout to make it go real fast. Shorty give me brain, I'm switching lanes and party. All she wants to do is have a good time. All she wants to do is have a good. Go out to dinner, sit at home, we always baking. Say little mama so fine, I just wanna see her naked. Can't catch so much cause you know that we in Vegas. Wait till I pull up and we can do what was you saying.
So what you want to do is you want to go to the App Store, download the app BandLab, and you're like 70% of the way there. Now that you downloaded BandLab, this is basically your DAW. This is going to be your digital audio workstation on your phone, and this is where you're going to start cooking up. So if you guys do want to see a tutorial or you want to see a challenge of me making a song on BandLab, drop down in the comment section below and hit that like button, and I'll do the video. So after you have your session open, just plug in your Apple headphones and you'll be able to monitor your own audio. You can see how you sound, put some auto-tune on. You can even have delay, reverb. You can do all of that. And the same concepts apply even if you're mixing on a computer with EQ, compression, delay, reverb, parallel compression. If you could even figure out how to do that on BandLab, I don't even know if you can because I don't even think there's buses. All that stuff still applies on BandLab, and that's something that I didn't know, and you can still get great sounding sounds even if you don't know what you're doing. But I highly suggest you go watch some YouTube videos on how to EQ, how to compress, what reverb is, what delay is, and everything like that. Cool, so now you have everything to make your music. Now what do? You want to go post it somewhere. A lot of people run to SoundCloud and they get SoundCloud rapper. But there are other places to post your music besides SoundCloud. You can upload it to YouTube, make your own YouTube and use it as organic marketing. Or you can even post it to Spotify, Apple Music, and get it on TikTok. It's very simple to do this. All you need to do is get a distributor such as DistroKid, TuneCore. There's a bunch of other ones. Just go on YouTube and do your research. So if you do want to see a video on me talking about all that, make sure you go over to my Instagram and message me over there, and then I'll know. So if any of this sounds like something that you want to do or that you're interested in and might want to try out, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on that bell notification so you never miss when we upload here on Congress Music. And that's going to be it for this video. My name is DC, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track